Oh my gosh. The gymnasium is so good. Okay, guys, I'm totally kidding. There is no gymnasium. I promise. Do not instantly click off this video thinking that I promise you, it's not. But this is a for real game. I didn't obviously make it. It's just so gorgeous. And I really wanted to make the video in here because I kind of wanted to talk about this, really. Obviously, I can imagine that this is similar to what it would look like. It does look a little bit too color graded that it's impossible to really kind of get the vibe, but my avatar kind of matches it, so I'm not mad about it. I mean, honestly, you can imagine, like, this is kind of the vibe they were showing in these pictures. They did so much about what they were planning on doing for Royal High. It's like gymnasium, and I honestly can't wait for that class. It's going to be amazing. However, there is a small little bit of a problem that I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of been bothering me that I just don't want to get everyone on my ass about it, but I really did want to see if maybe I'm not the only one who's thinking this. So, let's get into it. Okay, don't worry, I'm back now, guys. So, obviously I'm in actually, like, Royal High now, so you don't have to worry. And if you just if you're worried if I was lying, it really isn't. There's nothing. Okay, so what I need to talk about is kind of the overall thing. So, I don't know. Yes, it's going to be about complaints, but the reason why, and before anyone starts, is like, I just feel like, personally, when we look back at the old campuses and things like that, none of us have any complaints with those. What I'm trying to say is that, like, they have done so much, and that's not a problem. Loads of people wish that their favorite game developers would be getting off their ass and doing things. And I would say Royal High are really good at this, because just looking at this, like, what? Like, there's this glare of, like, the ceiling. They put so much detail into absolutely everything you see. But I can't help but think that maybe that's part of the problem. Like, in the nicest way, maybe Royal High are focusing too much on the wrong things. Because there was a little, like, tweet that I saw and I was like, this is kind of what sparked it. But it was like, they spend, like, a whole day polishing a brick and making, like, the walls look so intense. I mean, like, think the dungeon, it was beautiful. It was breathtaking. And I promise you, saying quality over quantity, it's a good saying. Because, you know, they can't risk giving a bad update and then people going, oh my god, this was such a crap update, I don't like it at all. But in my opinion, I also can't help but think that perhaps maybe Royal High needed to chill out with so much of the graphics and chill out so much with everything that they're doing. Because, like, what we've already got in Campus 3 is breathtaking. But if we go to Campus 2 or 1, when you go into this campus, you can see just how much of a difference there is. Like, honestly, I'm just walking around, you can see, like, one, the graphics aren't that bad. Like, you know, they're not horrible. Yeah, sure, for example, these are all very blocky things and that, you know, and it just doesn't feel like it's even nearly as magical. And the layout of everything, for example, you've got, like, the art classroom, it's really weird, but the function is there. Now, obviously, I'm saying I don't want them to necessarily come out with an update that looks the way this one does. You know, like, the way this campus looks, if they did do a release of a thing that looked exactly like this, I wouldn't be mad, but it's quite basic, and it's just, like, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if we look at the overall thing, like, this overall, like, campus, I don't know, these are all the dorms, it's all kind of really out there, like, it just doesn't look like an actual building. And so I understand as well why they did us to teleport into different, like, you know, areas, and, like, just seeing the menu, everything, it just doesn't feel right to be in this campus anymore because we've all moved on from it. But at the same time, this level, they ended up, obviously they didn't do many updates when this was, like, out. It would mostly be about sets and what we could get. But now that they're focusing on the actual, like, experience itself, I feel like they're kind of straying from what Royal High was about. Now, that is obviously why they did Royal High 4. But at the same time, you guys understand what I'm trying to say. It's just that maybe they could calm down with doing overly too much. Because, I mean, like, you know, for example, like, look at this. This is the royal office. Like, there's detention, and if you go in here, you can't even really see what to do, and you just go around like bars. Like, it was so basic and annoying, but people had such good fun. Now, I will say it's probably because the people who, including myself, we were younger when we played then, so we were happy and satisfied with a lot of different things. And then now when you go into, like, you know, your teleportation map, and you just see, like, this is kind of what the campus is, we've got all of these things, and it's gorgeous every single time. Like, the art class, it was gorgeous, and that was because it was up to a good level and it felt really amazing. But the thing is though, they could have genuinely have just done all of this without even saying that they were going to do Royale High 4. They could have just continued it, or they could have just done very basic things. I mean, I really hope they never get rid of the old campuses, because there was talk about that as well. But they could just, like, you know, not have to do too much quality over the quantity. Now, I'm not saying again that I want them to rush every single thing, like do the gymnasium, do archery class, then do the ballroom, the dorms, whatever they want to do. And it would be really cool if they could, once we get Royale High 4, because that's when they're going to finally get this back. You know, I'm really excited once we get the schedule back and we can actually, you know, because this is what makes it feel like it's a school. You have these pop up and you're just like, oh, finally, okay, I've got computer class. You would rush to your locker, you know, and you would get to, you know, you claim a locker. You just log it, get it, and then you could just, you know, it was just such a magical experience, really. It's such a basic thing, and that's why, you know, when we got the locker courtyard, we were so excited, because it was such a basic thing. It was just lockers, but we were really happy about it. Now, I'm not saying, you know, they made that look amazing, but overall, it was a very basic, you know, addition to the thing, but we all loved it, and we honestly all missed it when it was taken away. So that's kind of my comparison, really. If Royale High ended up, you know, just focusing, you know, on not overdoing every single graphic, because honestly, I haven't had a single bit of lag in here. And as we've all seen when I'm doing streams, when I'm doing videos, or when you guys are even role playing or anything, there's a lot of lag in a lot of places, and that could just be because, you know, that we can't all just assume it's because of the graphics, because the graphics are also determined by us, because obviously we have it in the menu up here when we go on it. I always have mine on automatic when I'm on Royale High. I never even chance it. But typically it would just be a really good idea if maybe they considered, you know, dialing it down too much with the presentation of the way it looks. Obviously, the way we can tell, they'll never go back to like the way this looks, and that's fine, because honestly, I wouldn't want that, because I would be lying if I said to you that this was a good standard like for Royale High now, but it still was impressive, like, you know what I mean? But it's just that this, at the same time, like, they've got nothing going on over here. They've just got a weird pathway, the door. Like, you can see very much what they were doing. You can see the outsides of it, and it just doesn't look as presentable. But the thing is, though, the actual games thing was there. Now, again, we don't have to worry about Royale High maybe, you know, underdoing it and making it go back to this, like, quality, because the only kind of they only had the marble floor, and that's literally the only kind of texture they have. Everything else is just plain, really, you know, and because of that, you know, it doesn't look as magical as the new campuses and from the pictures and everything. But because we're entering a new point of it, we never have to worry about that. But I just wanted to make the video because I wanted to let it out. Like, I have no beef with Royale High at all. I love the game. I actually, ever since they did the dungeon update, I've been very much towards it. I have no hate towards it. Anytime I see a hate thing about it, I understand, because some people are saying about, like, the masculine bodies, the hairstyles, because obviously, as we know, when you go and dress up, you go on hairstyle. Apparently, they said they were kind of going to stop that, you know, and, you know, it looks like it, because, you know, they don't have this. I don't even know if that's actually stopped or if it's just... But yeah, like, they've stopped doing it. Then people were saying the masculine hairstyles were too boring, and I was just like, realistically, people are kind of picking at nothing. I think people are expecting way too much, you know? My thing is just that I'm expecting them to do less. Like, is that just... I don't know. I think that's kind of the overall thing of what I want for them. I want them to create, you know, the substance of Royale High, because I want to get back to the role playing. I want to get back to the fun times of Royale High. I don't really want to keep doing tea videos, and, like, I mean, I love them. I love when I find out, like, you know, because it always makes me feel so smart, so clever when I'm like, oh my god, I know what the next update's going to be. And it's always exciting to talk about that because it's the open community. But the fact is, I miss some of the old videos and the old things that people did in Royale High, you know, the old, like, way we all interacted. And like I said, whenever I've done videos that are, like, about role-playing in the old campus, it's always very easy. People are instantly willing to role-play. People are instantly willing to, you know, have a good time and talk and start unnecessary drama about who's going to win prom king and queen. And that's the kind of thing I think we all probably want to see in Royale High. Because it's like, look at this, like, we've got absolutely everything. They've got all of their classes. Even although it looks very basic, we can all go to our classes, we can head to, like, our art class, sit there, and obviously in the way they do it in Royale High, as they've finally done a few more classes and not just the rainy day one, it actually looks a lot more better now, and people are starting to like it a bit more. Same thing with the dungeon. That was an amazing update. But it just would be cooler if maybe they just thought about dialing it down with over dramatizing the way each phase looks, and maybe, you know, rather than focusing on the aesthetics, focus on the actual thing, the actual update. And I think they've done really well with that, because the dungeon, they did kind of both. They made it look amazing, but they didn't go and add tons of crazy things. They just had basic, like, you know, secrets in there, and they had the stories, the voices and everything. They've done the most, but it was also more basic than, I would say, when they did, like, you know, any other of the phases. I don't know how to describe it, even although it's really difficult to explain, but I feel like you guys can understand where my point was going in this video. But nonetheless, I hope this was helpful for you guys, and let me know what you guys think of my opinion here. Let me know if you agree with any of my thoughts, because obviously it's always amazing to know what you guys think. And it also makes me realize what kind of, you know, the way the Royale High community is going based on your comments. So make sure that you guys comment any of your thoughts down below and what you guys think of mine. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.